Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Amber. I did not do a wrap-up video for last month in October, so for this video we're going to be doing both October and November's wrap-up and then December's TBR. So for October, we're going to talk about 9 books. 5 of those I actually read and 4 of them are DNFs. So starting off, the very first book that I finished was How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. I got this through my local library, so I read it on my Kindle, and I ended up giving that book a 4-star. It did take me a little bit to get through. I enjoyed it, but there was nothing like overly great about the story. I kind of forgot pretty much all of what happened. I know that it's 2 people who went to high school together after they graduate. She is like a romance writer, and her book ends up getting adapted to either a TV show or a movie, and the boy that she went to high school with is a screenwriter. So they end up working together, but they have a very difficult past, and so you're following them. It's pretty much like workplace rivals to lovers type thing. It was okay. I don't really remember a ton about it. I think if I went back and rated it now, it'd probably be more of a 3.5 star versus a 4. Yeah. Then I did a reread of A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book in the ACOTAR series. I mean, really, what all can I say? This is like a loose Beauty and the Beast retelling. You're following Feyre, who is a 19? Is she 19? Yeah. 19-year-old who is taking care of her family. She ends up killing a wolf, and that spirals a bunch of events that ends up forcing her to go live in the fairy realm, which humans are scared of fairies. And then it says, as she adapts to her new home, her feelings for the fairy Tamlin transforms from icy hostility into a fiery passion that burns through every lie she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. But something is not right in the fairylands. An ancient, wicked shadow is growing, and Feyre must find a way to stop it or doom Tamlin and his world forever. It gets another 4 stars. I absolutely love this series, but the first book is definitely typical to the beginning of any series. You have a lot of world building, a lot of just info dump, so it is kind of boring. Most of the stuff that ends up picking up doesn't happen until I'd say the 80% mark, but then the whole rest of the series is just amazing. So I did start my reread here, and I'm kind of just slowly getting through the reread of ACOTAR, and then after this I want to do Throne of Glass, just in the preparation. I know there's no release date on ACOTAR 6, but it is the book that she's working on now. So Throne of Glass is just a huge series, and I know that will take me a little bit of time. I think it's mainly going to be Firestorms and Tower of Dawn. I think that those 2 are going to kind of take me a little bit, because I remember Tower of Dawn, and there was a pretty big portion of Kingdom of Ash I remember was kind of hard to get through. So that's going to take me a minute. But anyway, then I read An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. This is a standalone, pretty short. I did really enjoy this. This one, again, centers around the Fae. I really enjoyed the way that she wrote the Fae and the world building, the world description that she used. It reminded me a ton of Holly Black's writing and the world of Elfhame. So if you do really love that series, I would recommend picking this up because I think they're pretty comparable. This one is a lot lower stakes. This one definitely reminds me more so of the first book in the Cruel Prince trilogy. It's just a little bit slower, more world building. But this one, our main character Isabel is she's a human, and she's a skilled painter. So the Fae in this world can't do normal skills, so cooking, painting, dressmaking, anything like that, it'll kill them. So humans become very skilled at one thing so that the Fae will want them, and in turn they do bargains with the Fae. And so Isabel is a very skilled painter. The Fae don't like to show human emotion, and one of the Fae that she's painting, he is the Prince of Autumn. Yeah. The Autumn Prince Rook. She ends up painting human sorrow in his eyes, which is frowned upon. It makes him look weak to his court, and so he ends up taking her to the fairy realm to stand for trial, but there is a lot bigger issue going on in the fairy realm that they have to go up against. So it was a really interesting read, pretty short. I would highly recommend this one. Then we have Spectacular, which is a Caraval holiday novella. So you're following Tella, and mainly just Tella and Scarlet during like the holiday season. And I did really enjoy this one. I wish there would have been more Scarlet in here, but the ending to this did definitely leave like enough where there could either be a spin-off series or at least another novella for this. But it was really enjoyable. There's a ton of like cute little illustrations throughout this whole entire book, and I think that just added to it a ton. So I would definitely recommend this if you loved the Caraval trilogy. Definitely pick this one up. I gave this 4.5 stars. And then the final book that I did end up finishing was on my Kindle. I don't remember if this was Kindle Unlimited, but I had this on there from one of those Stuff Your Kindle days, and it's Of Dreams and Shadows by Jessica Sundin. This is the first book in the Aldspell cycle. I don't know if that's really how you say that. So it's a standalone in a interconnected series. So it says, her reality is a dream, his is a nightmare. Beauty, gentleness, obedience, grace, good cheer. Very blessed at birth, Princess Aurora Rosen was molded into feminine perfection from the Queen's agenda of a New Dawn era, but the realm of Rothlin is far from perfect. Hunger and sickness plague the factory-choked land. Aurora, however, is oblivious to the plight of her people or her mother's cruelty. Plugged into the dream, she is programmed to remain awake and only see a prospering realm through illusions of beauty and contentment. But all that changes when a rebel sect of fairies releases her mind and unleashes her magic, the power to weave new realities while dreaming. Now on the run, Aurora's unspooling world collides with, I think you said his name, Phalip, a shadow walker and the surviving heir to the throne of fairy, the very throne the queen maneuvers to annihilate, and why the fairies hid him as a child in the factory slums of Rothlin. But an uprising pushes Phalip from the shadows of his life and into the hauntingly beautiful light of Aurora Rosen, a young woman who represents every nightmare he owns. Yet only she has the power to awaken a new dream. So this is set in like a dystopian world, and it is a Sleeping Beauty retelling. It was okay. The main male character, Phalip, is hardcore Irish, so everything she like typed out for his dialogue has a very strong Irish accent. And some of the words, I didn't understand what they meant. And so it definitely took me a little bit to get used to that. Took me out of the story a little bit. It was definitely an interesting take on the Sleeping Beauty story. But yeah, I kind of forgot most of what happened anyway. I gave that a 3 stars. It was good. I just didn't overly love it. I didn't hate it though. So I mean, if you really like dystopians and you want to read a dystopian fairy tale retelling, I would recommend it. It still was a fun read. It wasn't super long. Now on to the books that I DNF'd. I've talked about these before in a previous video, so I'm not gonna like go super in depth. And honestly, because I DNF'd them, I forgot a lot of what even happened because it's been over a month since I did that. I DNF'd The Wolf King. That's a Kindle Unlimited. I remember seeing it on TikTok and it was kind of just like an impulse download. Something about like a spicier ACOTAR, if I'm remembering correctly, and I just didn't get that vibe. It wasn't that it was bad. I think I got like 30% of the way through before I DNF'd it. I just could not get into it. I really just didn't care about the characters. The only thing I really remember is there's like 2 warring kingdoms, and the princess of the human kingdom is like down in the dungeons where the wolf prince or something, I think that's what he was, is for some reason. I don't know why she was down there, but he ends up taking her, and that's about where I left off. And I was like, you know what? I don't really care. I might one day go back and read that. I don't know. I just didn't overly care about anything going on, so I just decided to stop. Then I DNF'd Little Stranger. The audio to this like blew up on TikTok, and that's what made me download it, but I just could not get behind it. Again, I think I got about 30 or 35% of the way through and I couldn't do it anymore. They are step siblings. This is a dark romance. They're step siblings, but the way that they talk to each other was too much for me. Like they kept calling each other brother and sister, and I couldn't. So that one I DNF'd. Then I DNF'd Spookily Yours, which is like a holiday spicy rom-com. I truly That one's by Jennifer Chipman, I think. That's another Kindle Unlimited. I just didn't see any connection between the two main characters. It was too insta-lovey for me. I really don't like those kind of stories. So I just DNF'd that at like 30%. Or no, I think I was like 60% of the way through that one. Yeah, I just didn't care anymore, so I just stopped reading. And then the last one that I DNF'd was Feathers So Vicious. I honestly don't remember anything about this book at all. So I couldn't tell you a single thing. I don't remember why I DNF'd it. I think it was, this one was at about 30% also. I think it was just simply, I didn't care. I just didn't feel invested in the world or the characters, and I figured I might as well read something that I actually want to read. So I just DNF'd it. So those are the 9 books from October. For November, today is the 26th, but I know I'm not really going to get anything else done because I am in the middle of a Fourth Wing reread. I'm not going to finish that before the end of the month. I know that. So we're just leaving this at 7 books. I did DNF 1 book this month, and that's it. And then I read at the beginning of the month, Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. This one is like Bridgerton meets the Fae world. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I did really enjoy this. It was definitely more of like a cozy fantasy. I am interested to continue this. I think the next one is like 10,000 Stitches, and it's an interconnected world, but they're all standalones, so I don't know if these characters pop up in the next one at all, or if it's just completely separate from them. But this is definitely like a interesting take. Her mother I think it was before she was even born, offers her to a fairy. I think he might even be like a fairy king. And when she's like 8 years old, he comes to collect her, and her cousin ends up stabbing him with scissors, and so he manages to take half of her soul. So she is at the point where she does not show normal human emotions. Everything's very dull to her, so there's no like overjoy, embarrassment, nothing like that, which this is set in like pretty much like Bridgerton, where once they come of age, they are introduced out into like the ton, where they are trying to find a husband and a suitable match, which her not having normal emotions hinders her in that aspect. But this was a really fun and interesting read. Highly recommend this one, especially if you like Bridgerton. Definitely pick this one up. Then I read No One Has to Know by Karen Hart. This one is a Kindle Unlimited dark romance. He is a cop. He ends up kidnapping her and keeping her in her basement. And this one was a fun read. I gave this 4 stars. And the main thing was just like the plot twist towards the end. It was like the last 10% where it all comes out. Was not even remotely what I was expecting at all. And I really enjoyed that one. So that one was definitely a fun read, and I definitely recommend it. It's not super long either. Then I read Unhinged by Vera Valentine. I gave that a 2.5 star. It is extremely short. Like, I think only 100 pages on Kindle. It's like a 2-hour read. This one is straight up, just straight up smut, and it is about a girl with her door. That's all I have to say about that one. I gave it 2.5 stars. It really was not for me. I did read the whole thing, and I debated on DNFing it because I'm not quite sure what was going on. But yeah. Anyway, then I read The Lesser Gods by Heather Dubree on Kindle Unlimited. This one was kind of shorter. It was like a random find I found on Kindle Unlimited and decided to read it, and I'm glad that I did because I gave that 4 stars. It was a fun read. I did read this one in my Reading for 24 Hours vlog that I uploaded last weekend. So if you want to hear more about that one and my reactions to it, you can watch that. But this one is in a world ravaged by 200-year war pitting humankind against the immortal vampire. Emmeline rises as a symbol of hope for her kind, as a scholar determined to help defeat the ancient immortal forces, as finds herself an unwitting sacrifice in a long, brutal battle. Taken to Aeternalis, the ancient castle deep in the heart of the vampire city, she becomes the reluctant bride to their Prince Euclid. Peace for both people hangs in the balance as Emmeline tries to adapt to the court of the vampires, a group she has been brought up to hate. In this tale of love and sacrifice, Emmeline embarks on a journey to find his true love. What? In this tale of love and sacrifice, Emmeline embarks on a journey to find if true love can really bridge even the darkest of divides. So I did really enjoy the characters. I really enjoyed the side characters. I'd love to read more on them. The plot was very interesting. The banter was really good. The only downfall to this book that I'll say to know before you go in is that it says that it was revised for fixing grammatical errors, but there still are quite a few in there, which kind of took me out of the story while I was reading it. It really wasn't that big of a deal, but you should know that going in. If that kind of stuff does bug you, there is some. Then I finished my reread of A Court of Mist and Fury, second book in the ACOTAR series. This one and ACOWAR are my favorite ones. This got 5 stars again. Again, I finished this in the 24-hour reading vlog too. But yeah, what more can I say? Then, also in that vlog, I read The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. This is the 3rd book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. Not the last one like I thought it was, because Amazon told me book 3 of 3. It's not the last one. That one got 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I loved Misha. Loved her from the start of the series. Super glad that we got her POV, and it did not disappoint. Asar, top tier. Loved their banter. Loved the plot of the story and where it is going, and the end has me dying. I need the next one. I absolutely love it. If you have not picked up that series, highly recommend. First one was a 5-star for me. Second book I think was a 4-star. The novella was a 5-star, and this has been a 5-star. Carissa Broadbent, top tier for writing. I absolutely love it. What can I say? And then after that, I tried picking up Heart of the Raven Prince by Tassanja Odette on Kindle Unlimited. Those are all YA fairy tale retellings. This one was Cinderella. I've read, was it The Heart of the Wolf King or something like that? It's the first one in this. They're all standalones, but it's all part of a series. And I think I gave that one like 3 stars or 3.5 stars. I tried picking this one up and I didn't like it. I don't remember what it was. Oh, yeah, I do. I only made it like 10% of the way through this before I DNF'd it because it's a Cinderella retelling and the girl will not stop repeating how she only has 2 weeks until she turns 19 and she can leave her stepmom. And I was losing it if I had to read that one more time. I couldn't do it. Maybe it gets better as it goes on. But her bringing up how close it was to her being able to leave was driving me insane. So I kicked it to the curb for now. It's a soft DNF. I might pick it back up because sometimes you just need a fairy tale retelling. And her worlds are very easy to get into. There's not a ton of info dump, and I do like that. And they're just simple to get through. I don't know. Maybe I'll pick it back up. Maybe I won't. But that was a DNF for now. That was all the books that I've read. Let's get into my December TBR. I don't know how I want to pick this because I just went to Barnes & Noble and legit bought, I think, like 13 or 14 new books. And so a lot of them I do want to read. The biggest thing is I just don't want to start any new series, really. So I don't think I'm going to use, maybe I will. I think I might use, we'll try the TBR jar. I'm only going to pick like 4 or 5 of these though. I need to update this TBR jar too. A book that is 500 pages. Don't come at me about this, but this is 699 pages. I'm going to pick A Court of Wings and Ruin because I do want to continue on with my reread. Actually, wait, no. I'm changing my mind. I'm going to go with Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros because the end of January 21st, Onyx Flame comes out and I am in the middle of a reread of Fourth Wing, and I want to do a reread of this also, so we'll put this in there. A book with a cartoon cover. I'm going to pick The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood because I keep saying I'm going to read this and I don't. So I'm going to pick this. We'll see. A book with vampires. So I have 2 that I've been really wanting to start, which I said I don't want to start a new series, but I might do it anyway. My 2 choices are Empire the Vampire by Jay Kristoff and Immortal Dark by Tygist Grima. I hope I said that right. Which one do I want though? I've been really wanting to read this one, but I think I'm going to go with Empire the Vampire because I think this is just a duology and the second one's already out. I don't know if this is part of a series. I think it is. And this just came out not that long ago. I think I'm going to go with Empire the Vampire. I'm just going to do it. So I'll pick 2 more. A book with a person on the cover. I'm going to go with My Darling Dreadful Thing. I just picked this one up at Barnes & Noble yesterday. And it says, if the dead can wake and walk among us, how can we know what is truly real? Ruth Beckman has a spirit companion only she can see. Ruth, strange, corpse-like, and dead for centuries, is the light of Ruth's life. That is, until the wealthy young widow, Agnes Knoop, visits one of Ruth's backroom seances and the two strike up a connection. Soon, Ruth is whisked away to the crumbling estate Agnes inherited upon the death of her husband, where an ill woman haunts the halls. Strange smells drift through the air at night, and mysterious stone statues reside in the family chapel. Something dreadful festers in the manor, but still the attraction between Ruth and Agnes is undeniable. Then someone is murdered. Poor, alone, and with a history of hysterics, Ruth is the obvious culprit. With her sanity and innocence in question, she'll have to prove who or what is at fault or lose everything she holds dear. Can't go wrong with a good horror. And final one. Okay. Just put that one back. A book from your favorite genre. Good, I get to pick a fantasy. I'm going to go with The Book of Azrael by Amber Nicole. This one I already started before, like 2 months ago, and I got to like page 141. And I was very interested in this. I don't really remember why I put it down, but I did, and I want to get back into it. So let's go back through this real quick. So a book over 500 pages is Iron Flame. A book with a cartoon cover is going to be The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood. A book with vampires in it is going to be Empire the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. A book with a person on the cover is going to be My Darling Dreadful Thing by Johanna Van Veen. And a book from your favorite genre is going to be The Book of Azrael by Amber Nicole. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm hoping I get through those. I was going to read some holiday romances, but honestly, maybe I'll be in the mood as it gets closer to Christmas and I'll throw some of those in there, but as of right now, I just don't want them. I'm not sure why, but I don't. But let me know what books you guys have read recently and what you thought of them, because again, we all know I always like to add books to my TBR, even when I don't need them. And also, let me know what books you plan to read in December for the holiday time. But that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if you liked this video. It helps tremendously with them. And make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all my future videos. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!